I'm Julie Herman of Jaybird Quilts, and welcome back to the Quilts for Baby and Beyond Sew Along. Today we're going to go over cutting with the Super Sidekick ruler. The Super Sidekick ruler can be used for all the projects in the book. When you purchase it, it comes packaged with full color directions. This is what it'll look like after you open it up. Cutting directions are also included in the book, but today I'm going to go over the basics. So let's get started. I designed all 12 projects, quilts and pillows from the Quilts and Baby and Beyond book so that they can be cut from one ruler, the Super Sidekick ruler. The Super Sidekick ruler allows you to cut 3 shapes: diamonds, triangles, and half triangles, each one in 8 sizes from 1.5 inches through 8.5 inches. Additionally, I have provided full-size templates in the center of the book. That being said, the ruler does make life a lot easier to cut the shapes. I'm going to demonstrate how to cut each of the shapes. A common question is, can I cut with the fabric folded the way it came off the bolt? And the short answer is, it's not advised. For some shapes, you will not get what you need, the correct yield, if you keep the fabric folded or the correct orientation. So it's highly advised to open up your fabric and press that center seam open and cut with the fabric, the full width of fabric. You can cut 1 layer at a time or multiple layers. If you're not familiar with my rulers, I highly suggest cutting 1 layer at a time until you're comfortable cutting multiple layers. For today's demonstration, I'm going to start with 1 layer of fabric. The first shape we're going to cut is a diamond. Step 1 is to cut your fabric, width of fabric, times whatever number of inches as directed in each of the patterns. In this case, I have a 4.5 inch strip. To cut the diamonds, I'm going to go ahead and line up my ruler so the base of my ruler is at the bottom of my strip and the 4.5 inch line is at the top of my strip. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to begin with those directions and then I'll go over left-handed as well. Simply going to trim this off. Then take this piece, rotate it 1 time, take my ruler, and I'm going to align the 4.5 inch diamond lines and cut. And similar to how it would be to cut squares or rectangles, just going to work our way down the strip, cutting as many pieces as needed for the quilt that we are making. Each pattern includes detailed directions on how many to cut of each shape. If you're left-handed, this is how it'll look for you. The first step will be to cut that angle. So we're going to go ahead and turn our ruler so that the base of our ruler is at the top, our 4.5 inch line on the base of our strip, and we'll cut just as I showed with the right hand. After you make that cut, you'll have this. Then you're going to go ahead and rotate that piece around. Take your ruler, line it up on the 4.5 inch line all the way around your shape, cut, and work your way down the strip to cut as many diamonds as you need. The next shape we're going to cut is half triangles. We're going to start with right half triangles, which are cut with the fabric right side up. Left half triangles are cut with the fabric wrong side up. So to cut right half triangles, the first thing we want to do is create a square edge. If you are at the selvage, go ahead and trim that off. Then we're going to rotate that piece around. And our half triangles are located right here. And this is kind of your cheat sheet to remind yourself if you're struggling with where things are located. This shows you where on the ruler they're located. Detailed cutting directions are also included inside the book for each pattern as well as in the beginning of the book. So we're going to go ahead and line up our 4.5 inch half triangle, cut. To cut my next one, I'm just going to simply rotate the ruler 180 degrees around, line it up again, cut. And I'm going to repeat this process down my strip, cutting as many half triangles as I need for the project that I'm working on. And now if you're left-handed, the first step is going to be to cut a square edge. So we're going to line up our ruler on the 4.5 inch line, cut a square edge, Then rotate the piece around. Line up your ruler with the 4.5-inch lines. Cut. And rotate your ruler, working your way down the strip. This is how the second one would cut. Until you have as many half triangles as you need. Now, the process is similar to cut the left half triangles, but to cut left half triangles, we need to cut with our fabric wrong side up. So this is a Tula Pink white on white, and it probably looks pretty similar to you on both sides, but I can tell the difference because it's been printed on this side. So this is the right side. So in order to get these, I want to cut with this side down. So again, the first step is to square up my edge. Rotate that around. I'm going to line up my ruler. So my 4.5-inch lines go all the way around. Cut. Rotate it around. And cut. Now sometimes we're on a roll, we're moving a little too fast, we get excited, and we might be up here or up here, and then you realize you've cut the wrong shape. One double check to keep an eye on when you're cutting is that the base of your ruler should always be on the strip, which it's not here, and the rest of your fabric should be surrounded by a black line. There's no black line here. That's kind of my reminder to myself I might be in the wrong place. And if you were down here, there is a black line, but then there isn't one up here. So we always want to have the base of our ruler and the rest of our shape should be surrounded by a black line as shown. So cut. So now these are the left half triangles. Put them in my left pile here. And now if you're left-handed, going to begin this way, going to square up an edge, rotate it around. Your first piece would be cut like this, and your next piece like this, and on down the ruler. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below. The last shape that we're going to use our ruler to cut is triangles. Triangles begin very similar to diamonds. We're going to go ahead and line up our ruler so that we can cut our angle. In this case, I have a 3.5-inch strip. So I have my ruler on my 3.5-inch line. Go ahead and trim that off. Rotate this around. Now in order to cut triangles, I'm going to flip my ruler towards myself and then back down the length of my strip. So my first piece is going to look like this. Got my 3.5-inch triangle all around my shape. Flip it back up to cut my next one. We're just going to continue that process down the length of the strip until I have as many pieces as I need. Now left-handed is going to begin like this. Base of the ruler, 3.5-inch line, trim, then rotate the strip around, and you'll have this. And go ahead and flip the ruler away from yourself. Line up the 3.5-inch shape, cut, flip it back towards yourself, and work your way down the ruler. The same principles hold true for larger strips. In this case, I have a 5.5. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and cut a half triangle and then some triangles. So since I need a right half triangle, I'm going to go ahead and line up my ruler, create my square edge. Got my 5.5-inch line down here. The base of my ruler at the top of my strip. Trim. Now I'm going to rotate this around. And rotate my ruler around. Line it up around my 5.5-inch shape. And now if I needed a diamond, I could just go ahead and cut those, but I need a triangle, so I'm going to flip my ruler towards myself. Line up my 5.5-inch shape. cut. And I'll work my way down the strip, cutting as many triangles needed for the quilt or project that I'm making. Sometimes when cutting with darker fabrics, it can be hard to see the black lines on the ruler. One tip that I have is to use glow line tape. It comes in 3 colors, pink, yellow, and orange. And it's a 1/4 inch wide tape that you put on the back of your ruler. So I've gone ahead and cut a piece of the pink, and I've placed it here at the 8.5 inch line. And now I know exactly where my 8.5 inch diamond will be. So my first cut, going to be just as we did before, trim. Then I'm going to rotate my strip around. And now, no question of where I'm going to place my ruler. If the pink tape is on my piece, I'm not lined up correctly. I want to go till just my pink tape is right off the piece. If it's over here, I've gone too far. So I'm going to go ahead and line up that line, base of my ruler, top of my strip, and cut. Now I perfectly have my 8.5 inch diamond. When I'm done cutting all of my pieces that I needed my glow line tape for, and I want to move on to cutting a different shape or a different size, it simply just peels right off of my ruler. While not required, it's extremely helpful to trim the sharp points off of diamonds. What this will do is it will give you alignment points when placing them together. Without them, you might end up too low, too high. You're not exactly sure where to line it up. But by trimming them off, you can line up the corner right here and know exactly where it is. So let me show you how we trim those off. Take your diamond and place it horizontal. Take your Super Sidekick ruler and line up your diamond underneath your triangle lines. So the solid line here, the side of your ruler here. You'll have a little 1/4 inch triangle hanging out there. Simply trim it off. Rotate the piece around and repeat. So now I know exactly where to line them up, and sew my scant 1/4 inch seam. Thank you for joining us here today. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it, subscribe to this channel, and share your comments with us. Additionally, you can turn on notifications to receive an alert every time I publish a new video. We're looking forward to seeing your cutting progress for your projects for Quilts for Baby and Beyond. Please share them with us on social media using #Jaybird_Baby. I'll be back here next week to teach you how to make the triangles pillow. We have the big triangles pillow as well as the small triangles pillow. I look forward to it, and I'll see you soon.